I noticed that Diane Keaton died. She's right here on the left. And I might be wrong about this, but I was thinking, um, man, I thought she kind of looked like Kathie Lee Gifford, who you see on the right there. And I may be wrong about that. I was just kind of getting Kathie Lee Gifford vibes, and then it turned into a whole nother interesting uh points that I'm going to bring up right here surrounding Kathie Lee Gifford. So you see Kathie Lee Gifford on the right there. American television presenter, singer, songwriter, actress, and author. From 1985 to 2000, she and Regis Philbin hosted the talk show Live with Regis and Kathie Lee. Gifford is also known for her 11-year run with Hoda Kotb on the fourth hour of NBC's Today Show. So you see her on the right, and that's Diane Keaton on the left. Award-winning American actress, director, producer, and photographer whose career spans over 5 decades. Born Diane Hall in Los Angeles in 1946. She studied drama, blah, 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 right? So, again, when I looked at Diane Keaton here on the left, I was kind of getting Kathie Lee Gifford vibes there on the right. Now, I'm not running with that because as I looked up and saw Kathie Lee Gifford, which you see here on the right, I'm like, maybe not, right? But then it sparked something else with Kathie Lee Gifford. Here she is right here. Okay. Actually, now that I think of it, oh yeah, it is Kathie Lee Gifford. Look at her maiden name. Look, her maiden name is Epstein. You see that right there? And of course, that makes me think of Jeffrey Epstein. Check this out. And this is just a quick video. I didn't put like a whole lot into this. But she's got Jeffrey Epstein as her maiden name. Epstein's her maiden name, right? Not a lot of people knew that. Okay, and remember she married Frank Gifford, right? So, and I asked Google, was Jeffrey Epstein married to Kathie Lee? Just to try to get to the bottom of this. Or, you know what I mean? Now, knowing what I know now, I know that's false. But they got the same, her maiden name is Epstein. And when I asked Google, no, Jeffrey Epstein was not married to Kathie Lee Gifford, right? But look at Jeffrey Epstein's death date.
Jeffrey Epstein died in Metropolitan Correctional Center, New York on August 10, 2019.
So look at Jeffrey Epstein's death date is August 10th, right? And look at Kathie Lee Gifford, whose maiden name is Epstein. Look at her birthday is August 16th. You see that right there? Epstein Island, right? Jeffrey Epstein, kind of like shamed in the mainstream now, for the disgusting sex trafficking story. Him and Ghislaine Maxwell, and Epstein Island, all of that stuff, right? But look, man, Kathie Lee Gifford, her birthday is 6 days after Jeffrey Epstein death day anniversary. Or you can just say he died 6 days before Kathie Lee's birthday, and her maiden name is Epstein. But then they're not like related in any way, but they got that same last name. Now look, I look at her husband also died, Frank Gifford. Isn't this amazing right here? Because look at his birthday, they got the same birthday. And to be honest with you, I just caught right now that they had the same birthday. Look, he was a football player. He's got 16 on his jersey. And he's born on the 16th of August, just like Kathie Lee Gifford. And you see, I guess she acquired that Gifford name from being married to him. Look at his death day. Look, he died August 9th, 2015. So Jeffrey Epstein died one day after the death anniversary of Frank Gifford. And then he's got the same birthday, Frank Gifford, as Kathie Lee Gifford. And her maiden name is Epstein. And Jeffrey Epstein again died August 10th. I mean, come on, right? Why? And that's wow that I just caught that August 16 that they got the same birthday right there. Look at that right there, man. Isn't that absolutely amazing? And then that 16 on the jersey there was an American professional football player, actor, and television sports commentator. Explain the Kathie Lee Frank Gifford relationship. Isn't that amazing? 29-year marriage that endured infidelity and other public scandals through a commitment to forgiveness and faith. They met at Good Morning America, married in 86, and raised 2 children. Look, Cody and Cassidy. That's interesting because you have the Cassie Diddy stuff, and Cassidy kind of sounds like Cassie. Oh, I think I spelled it wrong. IE. And that kind of connects to the Epstein stuff as well. So isn't that kind of interesting? Because Cassie is kind of like Cassidy. Explain the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Involves the late American financer's decades-long sex trafficking operation. Isn't that interesting? So you see how it just kind of goes on and on and on, right? And this all started with this Diane Keaton death. She just died October 11th, right there. Isn't that wild? And again, I may be they may these two may not, there may not be anything to Diane Keaton and Kathie Lee Gifford, but it all kind of started with that. When I was looking at Diane Keaton, I was like, does she look like Kathie Lee Gifford? But again, I may be kind of wrong about that, but it all started with that. And you can see how we end up with that awesome connection with with Kathie Lee Gifford, with her maiden name Epstein, and that connection with Jeffrey Epstein. Isn't that amazing? I'll just ask Google on the fly real quick. Is there a connection with Kathie Lee Gifford and Diane? Oh, it won't even let me speak. And Diane Keaton. And she was married to Michael Keaton, right? Wasn't he in Look, there is a connection. Yes, there is a connection between Kathie Lee Gifford and Diane Keaton through their shared cameo appearance in the 96 film The First Wives Club. Isn't that amazing? So maybe there's more to the story that they're not telling us also with the Jeffrey Epstein connection. Goldie Hawn, Diane Keaton, Bette Midler, Sarah. Man, a lot of stars in that movie. When did this movie release? That's amazing, isn't it? September 20th. So that's right before the death date. Well, Diane Keaton died not long after the anniversary of this release date. She died October 11th. So that's kind of interesting, isn't it? This movie released on the 20th. Epstein was born on the 20th, but it was in January. So interesting stuff, huh? First Wives Club. So that's pretty cool. Um nice solid connections there. Again, and this all starts with this death. How did Diane Keaton die? She died at 79. They're probably going to say it's not known. It's saying she had a sickness here. She was diagnosed with some kind of cancer, squamous cell cancer. But I don't know if that's she died in California Saturday. They always bring up some kind of other health issue, but I don't know if they're exactly saying what caused Diane Keaton's death. They're not just going to tell us, here's what we know so far, blah, 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 blah. You would think it would just pop up if it was something that was known. They're saying she died, she had some kind of illness or cancer, allegedly. I know her because Michael Keaton, and this guy was in like Batman and stuff, wasn't he? Was Michael Keaton married to Diane Keaton? No, they got the same last name. So I may have misspoke a few moments ago. Oh, look, the name is a coincidence, is what they're saying. Wow, I was wrong. So if I misspoke a minute ago, that's amazing. This guy kind of looks like some other characters as well. Man, so this guy's September 5th. Michael John. So this is Michael John Douglas, known as Michael Keaton. Beetlejuice B, Batman B, Birdman B. Look at all these movies with the B. Bird, Bat. Come on, man. Beetle. Born, no relation. Huh. Look at this. Keaton, who bore no relation to Buster or Michael, was born Diane Hall. Isn't there a Buster Douglas boxer as well? And this is Michael John Douglas, Buster Douglas. Got that April 7th. So I don't want to go too long here, okay? So anyways, this all just started because I thought Kathie Lee Gifford on the right may have possibly looked like Diane Keaton on the left. And again, I may be wrong about that. I just wanted to show you that that's how this all kind of started. And I think that's really interesting. So you get the Jeffrey Epstein connection with Kathie Lee Gifford and Frank Gifford. And I just wanted to share that with you real quick as the weather picks up out here in Arizona. Looks like another stormy day. Okay, so until next time, I appreciate being able to present this just organic decoding, which I like to do, right? Until next time.